Would you like to see some A-list YouTube aviators and ask them some great questions? Well, me too, and maybe someday we will. But in the meantime, we have these guys in the hangar. Hello, everyone. We are live in the hangar. I'm Dan Milliken.
And I'm Christy Wong.
Do we have some A-list YouTubers? One day we'll get some A-list YouTubers, but in the meantime, we do have a pretty good panel.
We don't have A-listers, but we've got Josh.
We got Josh.
Solid B, C.
You know, if we can just pass, it's not F.
Right.
So
C's good degrees.
He's like a B+.
A B+. So we have Josh Flowers, Aviation 101.
All right, we've got Cory Robin.
Cory Robin of Cory Robin.
Cory Robin of the Cory Robin channel.
And Martin Pauly.
Another creative name.
Yeah,
And of the Pauly channel, too.
exactly.
So then Christy and I have taken off. So anyway, we would love to answer some questions from you guys. So light up the comment section. We're going to be watching. I'm going to be looking at the monitor here. But while we're doing that, and likes are $1.50. What size flying eyes? Well, I'll tell you what, on the big win for the flying eyes, these are actually kingfishers, but what we'll do is whoever wins, you get to pick. You get to pick what style and what color lens you want and all that kind of stuff. We're going to leave it up to you, so it's going to be really special. All right, so first question. What's the definition of an aviation A-lister?
Good question.
Nobody answers?
Not
Okay,
Brian.
we definitely have the D list.
Not Brian.
Well, I was going to say, if we'd had Brian here, we would have made the A list, right?
Doubt.
That's right.
So
We would have made A-list.
A-list. Thank you. Right.
Not sure what kind
And
of
that list would
it
probably be on the desk at a FISDO.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's do our first giveaway. Gold Seal is our new sponsor. Christy, what do we got?
All right, well, we've got this fancy Gold Seal t-shirt, and what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a trivia question. So for all of you guys watching.
And by the way, on the Gold Seal t-shirts, this came into play when we gave one away yesterday. We have large, extra large, and 2X. We don't have medium. The winner wanted a medium.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Okay. Well, we're going to do some trivia. And the trivia question that we have for you guys, there are 5 of us and we all own airplanes. What are our tail numbers?
First 3 out of 5.
First person to answer, first person to answer what? 3 out of 5 we said?
3 out of 5 correctly. Matt Wells, our
Correctly.
associate producer, is watching, and he will be the judge on who hits it first, and it's not going to be Waukesha, or is it?
Waukesha, don't let us down, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. And while we're waiting for those answers to roll in, hey guys, welcome back. It's good to see you.
It's good to be back in the
Yeah.
hangar.
Yeah.
That's right.
I know it's been a year since we've been on this set.
It has been.
All right, here's a good first real question. What made you decide to start a channel, and what has been your biggest challenge? Let's start with Cory.
Gosh, I started a channel because another YouTube channel came and flew with me and my friends, the Flying Cowboys, and we did a video with them, and it got enough views, and they really pressured us into doing it. And
It was peer pressure.
Yeah, it was like, you guys do some cool stuff. You really should create some
Same.
content.
I was also peer pressured into a YouTube. So
Yeah, so you've got like Trent Palmer who started first, and then
Yeah.
Some of the other Flying Cowboys who create some amazing content, way better than mine. But that's how I got in, just kind of more or less by accident.
yeah, Josh.
And I've always kind of had a love for filmmaking and always had a love for flying. And about 10 or 11 years ago, I just decided to combine it. And I said, well, YouTube sounds like a cool way to put videos out there. So I just started doing it. And over time, it gained traction. And do it all the time now.
Awesome. Martin.
It was my first flight to Chicago here, and I tried to search the web for material that helped me understand what to expect, and I didn't find very much. So a
Right,
friend...
because you were just going in the Bonanza, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So a friend had a GoPro. I'd never seen one up to that point. He came along, and we put that on YouTube, and people seemed to like it. So
Wow.
I made more.
All right.
I was peer pressured into it, so by Dan.
Yeah, exactly. And so, Matt, I know we got a winner, and you guys might whisper a little bit too, but...
I don't declare any winners. None of them. Some of them
No, one of them had it. Didn't Marshall get it?
No, not exactly.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, he kind of did, but there's no end numbers. So it's got to have an end.
He got 3 out of the he put 4 and one of them's wrong, but he did get 3 out of 5, right? So we got to call the
You
winner
guys
here.
are
You
brutal.
don't know what
wait,
country it's
hold on.
registered
He got 4 out of 5, and we're still not giving it to him.
No, he got 3 out of 5, but he listed 4, and the 4th one was wrong. But the rule was 3 out of 5.
The one he got wrong was her airplane.
I know. Well, okay, no, worse than that. Let's do Waukesha Pilot, who wins all the trivia. Waukesha, we've been teasing. Here's his answer: November 70 Tango Bravo,
Present.
Okay.
3061 Whiskey.
That is incorrect.
Close.
Okay, and then he got mine and Josh's. No, that's Marshall. That's what Marshall put. Waukesha said 3151 Whiskey.
That is incorrect.
Waukesha.
Wow, you guys.
Waukesha. So
Wait, and Marshall's the one that?
Marshall's the one that
Marshall!
he flies the plane. It was a typo.
PN numbers, and technically it's Marshall.
Yeah, let's do Marshall. Marshall Sherman
Okay,
wins
Marshall.
the gold seal.
Marshall.
Marshall, I swear to
Way to
goodness. Dude, you and I need to have a talk, buddy. I was his CFI.
Oh, okay.
And they say Waukesha wanted a medium anyway, so we're good.
Yeah.
Marshall screaming it was a typo.
It had to be.
Yeah, he flies the plane.
All right, so what is your tail? So we know 70 Tango Bravo,
Correct, yep.
3051 Whiskey, Marshall.
4620 Yankee.
November 8099901.
November.
November.
You always say November. That's so flight instructor-y of you.
Sorry.
We're in the U.S.
November 371 Romeo Juliet.
See, I would not have gotten
Flowers.
yours.
there you go.
There we go.
So,
There you go.
all right.
I like it.
All right, that was good. So let us, all right, let's go to some more questions. And we've gone around the circle. Why? Did we talk about the biggest challenge?
No, we didn't.
Okay, Martin, your biggest challenge doing aviation YouTube videos?
My biggest challenge is I never have the slightest idea when I prepare a video or have it ready to upload how well it's going to do.
Right.
The things that I think are going to do really well, they flop, and vice versa. And if I could predict that a little more, it would
I
make
feel
it easier.
that.
I totally feel that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say my biggest challenge, honestly, is dealing with the mean people. But like
The
you
mean
and I-
people in comments.
Yeah, like you
Not
and
the
I-
ones that show up to your house at 2 a.m.
Nobody has done that.
Okay, good.
But yeah, like in the people in the comments, they have gotten mean to all of us. I'm sure we've all experienced it. We've talked about that before, but it's gotten a lot better. But still, like, why people got to be so mean?
There is some mean-spirited where they start doing the name calling and stuff. Okay, for me, the biggest challenge, boy, Martin hit a good one. So let me try to come up. I'll come up with another one. Skip me for a minute, Josh.
For me, hands down, it's been learning to call out my own mistakes before other people do it for me on YouTube. That was
Another good one.
the biggest challenge that has taken all of the 10 years to work on, and it's still in progress. I think that was a huge challenge.
Yeah, that's a really good one, Josh.
Thanks.
You stole mine. No, I'm not that interested.
Answers and I used to go first.
Go first.
No, mine really is picking what to do for a video, and that sounds, I don't know. There's just
deciding
so
on-
many fun things you can do with a bush plane. Like, what am I going to go do now?
Yeah.
It's just like so much fun. So, I mean, is that a challenge?
No, it
Finding
is.
out what
It
fun
definitely
activity you're going to go do?
Absolutely.
Because you got to set up, there's a safety element.
Right.
And so when you go out and, you could be doing something so simple as when I did like a Harry's shaving commercial where I landed my airplane up on a mountain ridge and did camping. And there's a lot of production that goes into that. People see a 4-minute video, but you got to plan cameras, you got to charge all your batteries, you got to land on a mountain. There's all kinds of fun stuff.
All right. So for me, it's actually the first thing that came to my mind. It's similar to Martin's, but it's a little bit different. For me, the biggest challenge is making a video can be a ton of work. And Brian Turner teases me, but I call it the high squeeze, low juice formula. When you do high squeeze, in other words, a lot of effort, and then low juice, nobody watches it. Those kind of take the air out of me, with some exceptions. If it's a passion video or one I don't care who watches it. For instance, the memorial I did recently for the guy I knew that died in the extra. I'll do that video if nobody watches it, and I'm glad to do it. But for me, I just don't want to put all that effort in editing and everything else into a video that only a few people watch. So in a way, it ties into yours, Martin, in that you don't know what people will like or whatever.
Yeah.
And what's amazed me is that undoubtedly, a couple of our most successful videos have been low squeeze. In other words, we just knocked them out real quick and boom. I mean, I looked at your channel. The video with the most views that you have was probably your lowest squeeze video ever.
It was very low effort.
Yeah. So I mean, you were having a bum time with landing, and you just went out and beat the pattern up with one GoPro
On my head.
on your head.
Yeah.
And it's like what, 30, 45 minutes? I don't know. It's
It's like a 45-minute video, and it's at 2.8 million
Dude,
views.
give me
no
a GoPro.
editing.
No, there was none.
So I've thought about trying to do that, and maybe I will, and I'm sure I won't get it's like 2 or 3 million views, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 2.8, 2.7, 2.8, something like that.
That's insane.
I
Dude,
did.
give me a GoPro.
You know,
I'll
I know
strap it
the
on my
exact
forehead.
video that you're talking about is before you and I met, and I think there's a reason why that video is so awesome. It's because you were vulnerable, you were learning in real time, and I connected with it. I watched that thing from.
Oh, you did. Oh,
the
he
whole
watched it a
beginning.
million times.
Yeah.
I need that kind of stuff. I'm a backcountry pilot. All we know how to do is plan it.
Sometimes I have to go watch it again and be like, God, I wish I could still land like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, though, it's hard to tell like what the internet wants. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like Dan said, I mean, one of my high squeeze things was the paramotor video. I love that video.
Yeah.
Love that
We
video.
thought it
And
would do great.
the editing on it is superb. I mean,
Hannah
Hannah
did a
was
great job.
amazing. It's
It
so
really
fun.
crafted a good story.
It's just so fun, and it's got like 2,000 or 3,000 views. And I'm like,
It's so
I don't know what the
disheartening.
internet
It
wants
is.
anymore.
I think, though, that like paramotoring is a visceral experience that's difficult to communicate how amazing it is unless you're doing it.
Yeah, probably like jumping is
Right?
as well.
It's also really hard to film.
Yeah, it is difficult to film.
Yeah.
It really, really is difficult. I've done a couple of paramotoring videos.
Yeah.
And it's a magical experience. Literally running into the sky is kind of how it feels like you don't stop running until your feet leave
Dude,
the
look at,
ground.
you are just so real with the
It's so
experience.
amazing.
I know.
I
like-
just did it. So I'm like, fresh. But that's a difficult thing to translate because my paramotoring videos didn't do that well either.
Right.
But they're probably one of my favorite videos.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So some of our favorite videos to do end up not being or being the least popular if for some reason. I don't know.
And yeah, I go upstairs and do a rant in our small
Boom.
studio, and it's got 150,000 views.
Yeah. Ryan S. asks, afraid to strike the tail during a soft field takeoff. Tips? I'm guessing it's a standard tricycle.
Yeah.
Because I guess you're
Yeah,
not
I was
gonna.
gonna
It's not a
say.
tail dragger.
Just boop, oh, the wheel spun.
Like, I guess my default answer is stop being so afraid. Go out and do it.
I mean, it's a healthy fear to have. It's completely normal. It's a healthy fear to have. It's not going to happen though. You know what I mean?
Well, I actually put a GoPro on the tail tie down.
Yeah.
And it looks like a hook for a Navy thing. And I'm not worried about the camera. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't think I'm going to
I mean, you'd have to be so deep, especially on the takeoff, in order to be able to strike that.
Yeah, your angle of attack is way off if you're at that point.
Yeah, your control
Yeah.
inputs are just ill-timed if you're hitting your tail.
The empennage is designed basically for, flaring and the takeoff.
And
everything.
depending on the aircraft too, I mean, I know in the 172, this was the case in the 152s that I was training in a long time ago as well. I'm sure it's similar in the Warrior. Usually if you just get your cowling right below the horizon, the top of the cowling just right below the horizon and hold it there in the takeoff roll.
Yep, just hold it there. And then it's and the thing is, as soon as you start to get that lift, you let a little bit of back pressure. So like Cory was saying, if you're continuing to pull back, I mean, you're going to stall and it's just going to keep coming down, but it's not going to hit the tail.
Right.
So.
But every Cessna I've seen on every ramp has a little bit of the tail tie down ring ground off.
Yeah, okay.
Even ours has that.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But
Well,
it takes
I guess
but it takes a lot
he's
to get
more
to that
worried about
point.
structural issues. Like, am I
Absolutely.
going to damage my
Yeah,
airplane?
exactly. Right.
I don't know, and this could be something that we can engage the audience with. Maybe it's maybe. they
Yeah, has
can find
anybody out there?
Do
Yeah.
we know of any damage from tail strike?
Yeah, has anybody out there had damage on tail strike? Leave a comment. While we're doing that, I will say that here's a great question. What do you guys do for fun flying when you don't have to film?
fly. I just fly. It's all fun for me for the most part.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, the way I try to treat cameras is that my flying off camera is exactly how it is on camera.
Exactly.
So basically, whether I'm filming or not, if I'm filming, I probably talk a little bit more just because I know there's context to get out there in the open and stuff like that. But my flying is all the same, including what I'm doing, like whether I'm going somewhere or just going to breakfast or whatever. I just kind of, not necessarily randomly, but almost randomly, just decide when I'm going to film and when I'm not.
Yeah. Like I just went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I flew 172s on the islands over there. And I'm probably going to go back this next time and actually do an episode. But like that's what I did for fun is I just jumped in 170. I'm like, hey, let's just go fly. Let's go beat up the pattern. Let's go here. Let's go there.
Right.
So.
I don't know about you guys, but most of my flights are not with cameras. Right?
Yeah.
The cameras are when I have an idea that I want to capture, and most of the flights in the Bonanza, and certainly all the flights in the flying club with students where instructed, there are no cameras, and they're all fun.
Yeah.
I'd say about half my flying is with cameras.
Of course they are.
All right, this question is from Martin. I'm always interested in the differences in aviation in other countries. With your experience, can you briefly speak to the European regulations and procedures?
Ooh, on the spot.
Yeah, how much time do we have?
Yeah, I know. Actually, we have a whole episode devoted to this with Martin in a much earlier In The Hangar. I think it's like our second season or something like that, that we talk about European. I think it was probably the first episode we did with you.
Yes.
Give us the highlights.
Yeah,
the headlines.
so the question asked specifically about regulations, and regulations are not that different between Germany and the US. And that's probably no surprise because it all ties back to ICAO recommendations and standards, and most countries are similar in those regulations. But how things then work out in real life, in practice, is very different. There are vast differences in how expensive things are, and which fields charge a landing fee, other fees for approaches. The U.S. definitely, in terms of regulations, has gives pilots and aircraft owners more flexibility when it comes to building an airplane. The whole home built thing doesn't exist in Germany. Beyond that, there are probably more similarities than differences.
A mutual friend told me that a big part of why you moved to the U.S. was so you could do aviation.
Well,
is that accurate?
Aviation played a role, yes, but I was doing aviation in Germany, right? I was flying gliders and airplanes, and I moved to the U.S. because of a job offer,
right?
And aviation was the icing on the cake, right? Like the instrument rating. I got in the first few months of living here, I got my instrument rating, which was unaffordable for me in Germany, but quite within reach here. So knowing that I would come to an aviation-friendly country where general aviation has different priority and different utility than in most other places in the world, that certainly made me look forward to moving to the U.S.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't the reason or the primary driver.
All right. So yeah, somebody said you came for the job, but stayed for the flying.
There you go. I like it.
Right.
All right. What I'm going to do right now, keep asking those questions. I'm going to give away the I'm a pilot, so let's just assume I'm always right shirt. So this one comes in pretty much any size. And but I'm going to make it hard on you guys. And we're still got the Flying Eyes sunglasses to give away, and we're going to give those away in a little bit. Did we ever decide what our... No, we never decided how...
Yeah, we did.
We did?
Yeah, we did. It was going to be...
That's right. Okay.
I got you.
So for this T-shirt, this will be for those who watch my channel. There's a couple people here that didn't know any of us except for Josh. So they won't get this question. So in a couple of my recent rant videos, I got tired of all the comments where somebody comes on like, we've never heard this one before. Hey, did you know that in flying there's some old pilots, there's some bold pilots, but there's no old bold pilots? Have you ever heard that? Oh my gosh. And so I asked people to just, look, let's just number that cliche and just put the number down. It saves time typing. It'll give your fingers less fatigue. If you know the number I assigned that cliche, you win this shirt. So We'll see what that one is. No, Jonathan Chrisman cannot answer that question. So, all right. Here's a question while we're doing that. What engine preheater do y'all use? Yeah, mine is called Texas, except for recently.
Aerotherm. I actually have an Aerotherm heater
Okay.
for the Warrior because I like my engine.
Well, okay, but Martin, you live kind of colder.
Yeah, quite a bit colder. I have a Tannis heater that I put in the plane. My plane came from Texas, from Houston. That's where I bought it from. It didn't have a heater.
Surprise.
Now in Iowa, I need it.
Yeah.
Cory, what about you for
Well, I have a heated hangar where I'm based, but I'm camping a lot.
Yeah.
And so I've used a lot of things.
Wow.
no.
Okay.
I don't, yeah.
Maybe we should talk after.
Don't
we're
talk
done
to me about
filming.
this one. No, but you know those little camping stoves? If you get some aluminum,
You get some
Ducting.
what?
Do what?
aluminum?
Okay,
Okay,
where are
sorry.
you from?
I'm sorry. I hang out in weird
This is, I was going to say, this is how they talk in the back country.
I guess so.
We have our own little shorthand.
Okay, yeah. In which you make words longer and yeah.
That's right. It just sounds cooler. Aluminium. There's a trivia question for a future episode.
It's the British.
No, but we've used camping heaters, all kinds of different things out in the back country. As long as you take into consideration things like fuel and fumes and things like that, and you can do it safely in a lot of different ways.
Do you have a heater down in San Juan?
Texas.
You do?
No.
Okay, I have to say I don't either. So I'm surprised you have one.
Well, I mean, it gets like I use it for days when it's below freezing, when it's below
helps.
30 degrees. It definitely
Get warmed
helps.
up.
Well, it's hard on the engine to start it when it's 30 degrees out. So I baby my engine. I do. It's true.
All right, so
You should.
As I should, exactly.
It's expensive.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
you guys all thought that my question about the cliche was going to be too hard.
Did they get it already?
The second answer was correct. The second answer.
Who's the name?
Smitty Smithenite.
Smitty Smith and
Smitty.
I already like him. 'cause
I
like
of the
that.
name.
He's
I
a
know.
regular. He's a regular on
Yeah.
that. So the correct answer was 37. So it was just a random, and we've gotten a lot of comments where people now just put 37. Although on our most recent video, even yesterday, somebody, did you know there's no old? It's like, come on, really?
You need
They
to make a
probably did it
T-shirt
on
that just
purpose.
says 37.
You know what?
Yep.
Yeah, and then nobody will buy that one either.
Dan,
So
that's our next T-shirt idea. There are
then that
no
one will
old
stick to
pilots,
You don't
little
have to
pilots,
sell
or
your
whatever, and then
T-shirt.
37.
I'll just put there are no ... 37. So Smitty, you know how to get a hold of us, either Facebook or you can go to the store site, which is takingoff.s-films.com/store. There's a contact form there that you can send us your information or go to Facebook, the Taking Off page. And Matt's going to put that link in the chat right now. So questions. Let's see. Favorite passengers to take with you flying? Let's start over here, Cory.
Oh,
Because
gosh, that's a
you
tough
can only
one.
take one anyway.
My favorite passengers are usually the war heroes, the veterans. Especially you get the greatest generation. There's so few of them left that anytime I get an opportunity to show my appreciation and simultaneously share the wonderful gift of flight. It's a wonderful experience. In fact, sometimes I walk away from those just in kind of an afterglow, and you need a minute.
Right.
Like where you're just like, wow, I just met this guy, and we're telling stories, and he's telling me war stories and his service or her service. I just did a recent Fly With Me Friday with a female Army veteran that was just an amazing human being. So that's really the answer for me is giving back to the veteran community.
Good answer. Josh?
I would have to say my dad, because he's the one that got me into flying. So it's just kind of that special thing that we share as a father and son. It's fun to fly together. I be his passenger, he be my passenger. It's a cool relationship.
For me, it would be my family, the rare times my kids have and the never time my wife has. But if that were to happen, that would be my favorite. So, Christy.
I actually have two answers to this.
Uh-oh.
Okay, the first answer is I love giving discovery flights. You guys probably know I'm all about it. I'm an EAA Young Eagles pilot. I always participate in the Fly Kids for Nate every year. Oftentimes I'm the only female pilot, so it's really gratifying to, and I will take up anybody of any age. So I do Young Eagles, Old Eagles, like I don't care. I'll take anybody. But I recently started doing something else, which is, as you guys know, I was furloughed in October, and we're sort of recalled, but we haven't been sent back to training to get on the line yet. And there are so many other pilots in my situation. I am so fortunate to be in a position where I own an airplane. I'm part of a wonderful flying club. I get to fly a lot. There are so many furloughed pilots that have not even seen or touched an airplane since we got furloughed. So I've been doing like outreach flights to furloughed pilots just to get them back in the air, just to kind of remind them this is why we're waiting. This is why we're in the holding pattern. Like,
That's really cool, especially today. People need that sort of thing.
absolutely. I'm actually taking somebody up this next Wednesday, and I mean, the first time I did it, I was like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever. I'll take you guys out. And then when they got there, there was so much joy during that flight. Like, oh my God, it's a real airplane. I mean, because it had been months, and it made my heart so happy. I was like, I have to keep doing this. So I put myself out there on some of the furlough groups and said, hey, if you want to fly and you're in DFW, hit me up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So besides family, all the fun memories we've made traveling over the years, my favorite passenger from the past that I have flown with is Herschel Woody Williams, along the lines of what you said, Cory, World War II veteran, Medal of Honor recipient, who at the age of, in his late 90s, still travels through GA, including airplanes like a Bonanza, to raise money for Gold Star families.
Wow.
That was a very memorable flight. And the one I'm most looking forward to in the future is my first flight with our first grandchild, 6 months old granddaughter.
Wow.
How fun.
That's really cool.
Well, congratulations 6 months ago.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. And a question similar. Do you remember how soon after getting your license did you feel comfortable flying with passengers, Martin?
Immediately.
Yeah.
I got my pilot license in Germany for gliders, and I don't know if it was the same day, but within a very short time, I took friends and family up. And I had been flying for 3 years up to that point. Getting a glider rating in Germany was a pretty lengthy process, so I didn't feel like I was brand new to it.
Right. Okay.
My very first non-pilot passenger was my friend and coworker, Aaliyah. And she was so excited. And we took the 172, we just hopped over to Bridgeport, went and did the lunch thing. What she didn't know at the time was that I was super scared. Because it was
Probably better not to.
Well, it was kind of crosswindy that day. I mean, I was fresh, like 65 hours, brand new private pilot. And after we got back, so we did the round trip, got back, put it away. I told her, I was like, just to let you know, I was a little nervous, whatever. And she was like, you could have fooled me. I was just like in the zone. But I mean, it probably took, I was probably around the 100-hour mark before I was really comfortable taking passengers and whatnot. I had other pilot flying buddies that I was flying with, but that's different. Non-pilot passengers are a completely different thing because if anything happens, they can't really do anything to help you,
My very first flight after getting my license was, I took my son on a little trip real quick. I mean, it was the very first thing I did. And I didn't think twice about it. It wasn't a scary thing or anything else, so.
I think my first flight after getting my private was by myself. But immediately the next flight, I know it was the same week of taking the check ride, was my first passenger was my dad in a rental 172. And of course, I felt confident to take up a passenger because I was like, well, I passed the check ride, right? And it's that function of, your level of knowing what you're doing is super low, but your confidence is like through the roof.
Right.
But the government gave me a certificate.
They gave me a certificate.
What they meant was you're certifiable. Okay?
Yeah. Well, that's never changed. But yeah, getting comfortable taking passengers up, I think I slowly started to realize that, wow, I really don't know what I'm doing. And then there was kind of that, trough. There's a graph on this somewhere.
Yeah, there is.
But yeah, you know how that goes.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever gotten comfortable taking passengers.
No, really.
No, I do it all the time. And I think I'm still just trying to convince myself that it's okay, that I'm putting people in
So you're more
hurling
relaxed?
ball of metal and fabric.
You're much more relaxed.
No.
That would have been
No,
nice
I'm
to
actually-
know before I went flying with you.
I can't remember. I've had my pilot's license since I was 17. I'm 46 now, and I can't remember how I felt about passengers, just to be honest. I mean, I just don't.
I mean, honestly, there is a big responsibility with it. So I never take it lightly, but the comfort, I'm comfortable doing it, but there's a great responsibility. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
I mean, there's definitely a responsibility to it, for sure. When I definitely notice my attention is slightly modified when I have passengers versus when I'm alone. And I don't know if that's me being more cautious necessarily. It's just me being aware, hey, there's another person there that I need to be, explain things to potentially, because I actually catch myself explaining my flights to myself through my intercom when I'm alone, and I'm like, wait, there's nobody in the back, because I never see them.
Right.
I'm focused on what I'm doing, and they're behind me, so you might as well have somebody with me all the time. But the plane does perform very differently.
Yeah.
With a load
Yeah, it
versus
does.
without a load, especially my airplane, since it's so light. It's a 990-pound airplane.
Okay. Steve Brandon asked, as to female pilots, are things getting easier for them on the flight line? Is there a higher level of respect happening, or is there still a lot of boys' club thinking? So, Martin, why don't you? No, I'm
Yeah. Yeah, Josh.
Chris.
This is a hard question to answer, just because my experience is very, very small so far. So it's not like I flew 20 years ago and now I've got something to compare it to. On the whole, everybody's been extremely supportive. There have been a couple of instances, though, where I have experienced discrimination, unfortunately, because I'm a female pilot. One of which was so heartbreaking, I don't even want to go into it. Yeah,
Recently?
It was within this last year.
Wow.
Yeah, I was denied a job or a contract trip after.
okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things that but I'm sure, but guys get denied jobs for various reasons as well. So I didn't really take it personally. It is what it is. I take great pride in being able to correct people. So one of the things that stands out in my mind is there was a group of women that had come up to Denton after the Hurricane Harvey incident, down there. They had to kind of migrate north for a little bit. And I came inside, my airplane was out on the ramp. I came inside and one of the ladies approached me and she was like, "Are you one of those airplane girls?" And I was like, "No, that's exactly what she said." And I said, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "So are you're a flight attendant?" I said, "No, ma'am, I'm the pilot." And she about lost it. She was so excited. Like, "Oh, that's awesome." And I mean, I've gotten the high fives and the "you go girl" and everything. It's always really, really gratifying to be able to tell people like, "Yeah, I fly airplanes." Yeah,
Wow.
So it's becoming more common, is what I will say. We're still just a small percentage of the population, but it's, I don't know, that doesn't bother me. I mean, if women want to fly, awesome. If they don't want to fly, that's okay too. But I think the real thing is addressing the can women fly, and the answer has been proven already well before me. The path was paved. Yeah, we can, and we do it dang well. You know,
You pass the same competency standards as
Yeah.
There's not a different set
Other
of standards.
people.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, the
So-
one thing I have gotten is people have either asked me or made comments about, "Oh, passing a check ride because I'm a female," and the answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I hold myself to very high standards, number one. If anybody follows me on Instagram at Pilot Christy and you go back and you see the pictures of how prepared I am.
Oh,
and
nobody
whatnot.
prepares like you.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And the thing, I prepare my students that way too. My students know. So it's just one of those things, though, where I just want to dispel the myth that, like, women do not get easier passes. At least I certainly didn't. I can't speak for all women, but I didn't.
Right. Okay, here's a question. I have my commercial multi-single. Do you think CFI is the best job you can do in the aviation field for time building?
Yes.
I'm considering all my options at the moment and appreciate any
Yes.
advice.
Yes. 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 Yes.
But Martin's going, maybe.
I'd say if you like teaching, then
Yes.
you can build
Okay.
time along the way.
That's a big
But if you
point.
only do it to build time and you have no interest in helping others to learn or no talent for
Right.
explaining things,
I would add that caveat.
Yeah.
If you're interested in being a great teacher, then yes. If not, go to Alaska and get one of those low Part 135 low time builder jobs.
Yeah, well, okay. So there is that caveat, but I will say this. When I first started to instruct, I was not entirely enthused about it. I was scared, honestly, because I was like, I don't know anything. You know, after my CFI check credit, I realized I didn't know anything. I was like, how can I pass along this knowledge that I don't have? But I grew to love it so much. But yeah, if you're just getting in it just a time build and you don't want to help your students, then I agree. But it is the best way to time build.
And I think it's also one of the best ways to learn and make yourself a
Absolutely.
better aviator too.
Absolutely.
So if you maybe have an interest in that, the bottom line is I think it's something worth trying because it is a really effective way to build time and you might fall in love with it. If you absolutely hate it and you think it's super grueling,
Then go to Alaska.
please do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go do
Go to
something-
Alaska or buy a carbon cub and tear up the sky with it.
something
So
that
I
burns a
take
little
it you're
bit
not
of
a
fuel.
CFI.
No, you know, I don't have any commercial activity interest with my pilot certification whatsoever. I just have fun with it. So
Yeah.
I'm a different breed. I guess.
That's
great,
okay.
too.
That's okay too.
Well, and that's kind of goes into the next question. What ratings are you guys working on? So you're definitely not working on your commercial.
I don't know if there's a
You have
rating
an
for what
instrument?
I'm working on. I'm just working on getting back in the cockpit right now.
There you go. Right. Do you have your instrument?
I don't. That's one
Okay.
I should do, though. I've thought about it often because, you know, I travel so much in my Cub, and it's
Is the Cub
fair weather flying. I
not
could.
IFR
I could. I've got a Garmin panel in it. So I mean, I think with just the addition of one more piece that would give me what I need to be
Okay.
legal. And you know, something I maybe should consider. Be a kind of a cool video series. I watch an old guy that has 4,000 hours get his instrument.
You're
rating.
not old.
I'm gonna, no, but I'm like an old, as far as, you know, how much flight time I have. How many people start at 4,000 hours and get their instrument rating?
Hey,
we
I'm-
can team up. You can teach me tailwheel flying and I'll teach you instrument
You
flying.
want to trade?
There you
Yeah.
go.
So is that what you're working on? Because that's what I'm working on. I'm
yeah.
working on my tail wheel. I've already gotten some hours in. I'm getting close.
The two things I started that I want to finish this year, one is the tailwheel endorsement and the other one is my multi-engine rating.
That's exactly me. I want to try to get my multi finished too because I got halfway through that before I bought Lola. So, Josh,
The most recent one I did was tailwheel in a Super Cub.
and you,
And I made 4 videos that were very actually kind of interesting, different from my normal format, but I would stop in between each landing and voice over everything I saw myself do wrong, right down to like I didn't push the stick forward fast enough and I didn't, you know, that kind of thing. So I did my tailwheel most recently. Next up is going to be seaplane this
Seaplane.
summer, and then multi shortly thereafter.
oh, you don't have your multi.
Not yet, no.
Okay. Christy, you've got all the ratings, so she's not working on anything.
now hold on.
You don't have your rotor.
I don't, and I do not know. 2 ratings that I would like to get though that I've always said I wanted. I always wanted the seaplane, always. But I think I'd like to do some glider flying too, because I think that sounds really fun.
That's
Teaches you so much about energy management. That's on my list too.
Yeah,
really wanna
absolutely. So I don't know if I'll do it this year. Maybe. I mean, I might as well. But it's just committing the time and the financial resources and finding somebody that I trust to teach me, et cetera.
Okay, so there's probably missing a lot of questions, but I think. Here's a question. If you had the opportunity to fly to Africa with your aircraft, which country would you visit? I've been to Africa, not with my aircraft, and I know which country I would not visit, but because I went there for work.
Why just one?
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
it's got
we shot it, and I'll answer this unless somebody wants to jump in with their answer too. We shot an episode with a ferry pilot, Cory Robin, who's written a book that was amazing, and one incredible story is him flying a 210 across the Atlantic and across Africa. And the adventures that he had was, it made a whole video.
Yeah.
We did one episode on that trip.
Wow.
So how did it start? Oh, never mind.
I'm not. Dan made me open the video with poop bag.
He had to go. It was the first time as a ferry pilot, and he was over the Atlantic. He was going to put it out the window because 210 you can open the window, and the bag got caught.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Well, he said he spent the next 3 or 4 days, whenever he had a few moments, with his fingernail scraping the baked off color on the outside.
Yeah, so you guys, when that video comes out, definitely go watch it. It was so entertaining. Well, and he's a good storyteller too. Like, the way he retells it was very, very engaging, very captivating.
Yes, and William, who asked a question we answered yesterday with Joe Casey and his son Ben, do you recommend gaining cross-country time prior to IFR training or not?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I mean, you need it anyway.
You need, you need 50 hours of PIC cross country anyway. And it also, I think it just throws you into the real system and it shows you how the National Airspace System works. And you can kind of operate amongst the IFR airplanes that are in the airspace. Even though you're VFR, you can hear what everybody else is saying.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
All right, I think it's about time to give away our grand prize, the Flying Eyes.
Flying eyes.
Christy, show them the
Absolutely.
frames. These are the
These are the Kingfishers.
Kingfishers.
Yeah, these are the ones, not the exact ones, but these are the model of sunglasses that I've primarily been wearing lately. They're so awesome. Here we go. I'll model them.
So bend that frame here, right here to this camera here. Show the frame. Look at that. Holy schmoly. Ooh, okay. So here it is. Somebody is going to win. So who is going to win the king? You get to pick which frames you want. So here is the question. What's the question?
The question is, the 5 aviators here, we are all based at different airports. You have to get at least 3 out of the 5 home airports correct, but name the 5 airports that we
Only
are based
3
in.
out of the 5?
Only 3 out of 5. However,
where's my
your
phone?
entry is disqualified if you start with a K.
That's right. If you
Say
start-
no to kilo.
Say no to kilo.
So we're going to see who. Man, we don't even have any answers yet. Somebody's saying, "I know." Ooh, giveaway. Okay, so
It's true.
while we're doing that, I'll ask a final question. There's been a lot that I've missed. There was one. Oh, dream plane. I saw that earlier. Tell me your dream plane if you could have it.
The PC-12. It's
Okay, Pilatus.
easy to fly, great utility. You can land well, not Cory
Not on a
anywhere,
mountain.
but
No, PC-12s are
almost anywhere, and it's roomy and fast. That's mine.
I want the Piper Meridian, so the PA-42 series.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Piper.
I would absolutely go that route if I had to, but if it's dream, let's go with the TBM Cicada. If I'm going to do that.
900?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have very
yeah.
practical
900,
dreams, I
901,
guess.
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
9 series?
Yep.
Yeah, those are sweet.
Mine changes depending on the mission, but I think if money were no object.
1970 Mooney.
Yeah, that's it. No. I think a Quest Kodiak would be
Oh, nice.
pretty
nice.
great with big tires.
I've been watching Missionary Bush Pilot's channel. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
Really,
It's good.
really great content
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dream, I'm going to partner with Martin. He's going to get a bush plane out of it, and I'm going to get a PC-12.
There you go.
Because my ultimate airplane is actually the one I own. I love it so much.
Okay.
I can't imagine having something different that would exceed my expectation.
A tail wheel PC-12?
A
Martin.
Bush PC-12.
Experimental PC-12.
Yeah.
We'll get Mike Patey involved. And
Oh, he could do it. Yeah,
Easy.
Oh my
we got
gosh,
this.
that's a
We got
brilliant
this.
idea.
It'll land in 50 feet, take off in 20, and it'll
Yeah,
go 400
can I change my
knots.
engine
We're going
to
to add
Scrappy?
speed to it, too.
Yeah.
Deal.
I
I mean, if
agree.
Mike's involved.
If Mike's involved.
Yeah. I mean, you just put 2,500 horsepower on it.
I agree. I would probably put a lot more money into the Wong Warrior, just like really outfitting it first, but then I'd get a big sister for her. And
Yeah.
that would be like the mission airplane that I could transport people and things in
Right.
for like Operation Airdrop and stuff.
Airplanes are so cool, though. It's so hard to pick one.
Really?
Yeah.
Right?
That's why it depends on the mission for me.
Yeah.
Nobody else is using identifiers. Who knows why?
Oh, that's a big problem. Okay, so
It right away.
who did?
Marshall Sherman.
And
Marshall.
Even
Well,
before the people
hold on
not
a
using
second.
identifiers?
Did we say airports or identifiers though?
We did say airports. However, either way, Marshall was still the
I
first.
think he was, yeah.
Okay, double check that.
Double check that.
Marshall,
You just said
Marshall,
no
you need to be
kilo.
studying for your commercial, dude.
And somebody else said 37, so I think they're a little off.
Yeah, somebody said
He's
this-
watching the
delayed
delay.
internet
He's watching the
connection.
delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marshall got.
Yeah, somebody said 37. I love that. To me,
I think
that's
there
a
needs to
winner.
be some sort of consolation. And whoever just gets 37, message me, and I'm going to send you a Cory Robin shirt. That's funny.
Matt Foster, we will get your information to Cory. Cory's going to give you a Cory Robin
Do it.
shirt.
That's funny.
There we go. That's awesome.
Cory Robin has a great logo that he stole from Brian Turner. If you've ever
I've
seen
heard
his
that,
logo.
yeah. I want a Cory Robin shirt.
Why would Brian Turner not use that awesome logo?
I know.
I know. So good. So good.
All right,
I'll give
so-
you a shirt.
Awesome. I'm a small.
Okay.
All right, so we are on 45 minutes, so we probably need to wrap it up. Somebody said I want to.
But who won? Who won?
Oh, it
It
was
was
Marshall
Marshall.
Sherman.
Marshall
Again.
Sherman.
Marshall Sherman
Marshall
again because he
Sherman
won the
again.
shirt earlier.
Marshall,
so he's
yeah.
like Waukesha pilot this round.
He's
Waukesha
the North
usually walks
Texas
away with all the
Waukesha.
gifts,
I swear
the
to
prizes.
goodness, Marshall.
So
Save some postage. It's one shipment for.
yeah, it makes it easier on shipping. So awesome. So Marshall, he doesn't have flying eyes.
I don't think so.
Oh, this will be good for
Congratulations,
him.
Marshall.
No, this is great. This is actually perfect. So
Which airports did he get, by the way?
Yeah,
Oh,
what
the
did
three
he
that
get?
he picked.
Denton, T67, and San Marcos.
Okay.
All identified.
Oh, nobody got yours. I bet
Well, that's great.
I don't know where he got either.
Yes.
because
Fantastic. We're not telling you either.
yeah. Okay, very good. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. Waukesha does say he's not Marshall. That's funny. I'm Marshall.
Waukesha.
That's bad, Waukesha.
He must
Clever,
be making
but bad.
dinner or something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, he'd win
Waukesha
everything.
is on it usually. Yeah, he's yeah.
I mean, he's distracted. He has to be.
He wasn't in his game.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, guys, it was a blast. I always love doing these live things. I appreciate you guys doing this. Any last words?
Wow.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
It was fun.
All right, very good. Okay, so all you guys out there, visit these guys' channels. When I get a chance, I'll go update the description and put everybody's links in there for you. But go visit. If you're not subscribers to them all, you really need to be. So please do subscribe. When we close it out, feel free to come back and comment again. We like that. So thanks again, and we appreciate you coming and being on.
In the hangar.
In the hangar.